I'm just going to cut right to the chase. This is my favorite Marvel project since WandaVision. I have genuinely not felt this excited about a Marvel project in such a long time. There are certainly projects I've really enjoyed. Just this year, I really, really enjoyed Thunderbolts. But Fantastic Four First Steps has my blood pumping in such an exciting way. I can't wait to talk about it. This review, as always, is going to be spoiler free, so you do not have to worry about any major plot points being ruined for you. However, if you want to go in completely blind this weekend, I recommend maybe dropping a like and coming back later. Let's get right into it. The Fantastic Four First Steps takes place against the vibrant backdrop of a 1960s inspired retro-futuristic world. Marvel's first family is forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond. You know, Reed Richards and Sue Storm are expecting their first child. Big, exciting times ahead. However, they have to defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer. As if raising a child wasn't stressful enough. So first and foremost, I think this movie makes a really smart decision. Similar to another superhero film that came out earlier this month, it doesn't make this an origin story for the Fantastic Four. We are kind of plopped right into it. The Fantastic Four is already an established entity in this world. In fact, the movie starts with the 4-year celebration of the Fantastic Four. And through this celebration, we actually are cleverly given their origins in a quick and efficient way. I think folding it in like that in this like 1960s almost educational special kind of way is really smart. It allows new fans to be caught up to like where we are and understand where these characters got their start, but it also isn't dwelling on that too much and allows the people who are familiar with these characters to get right to the chase. When I realized this is how we were going to like begin the movie, I was a little nervous for the characters. However, each performer is so dropped into these roles. They know them inside and out, and the dynamic between the four of them is so lived in. You can feel the history between all of them and how they function. It's so alive. I was so impressed. Each of the four is perfectly cast. I think Joseph Quinn brings like this fun little mischievous boyish charm to Johnny, but I also really enjoyed how there's this like urge to be taken seriously by him. Eben Moss-Bachrach is terrific as Ben. I think he is just like pitch perfect casting. I've never really cared about the Thing until this iteration. My big standouts among the four were Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby. I think their dynamic together, like I said, so lived in. You can just feel the love emanating between these two. You can feel the years between these two. It's so special. What I loved so much about Pedro Pascal's interpretation of Reed Richards is how you can feel this sadness beneath him. He's still grappling with this burden of he's really struggling under the weight of the idea that he maybe caused them to have this life, and that like sadness and that burden of his genius like trickles into how he is interacting with his son Franklin. Reed would quite literally baby-proof the world if he could. He really wants to just keep this kid safe. Safety is the priority big time, and he knows that being who he and his wife and his brother-in-law and best friend are, safety is very like in short supply, you know. He's also like worried that this child is going to have powers and bear that burden. Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm, I just think is like a beautiful ode to motherhood. It really is such a beautiful performance. It sounds so silly, but there's just so much love pouring out of her in this movie, and you can just feel like her internal conflict of wanting to like protect her son, but also like this call to protect the people of Earth. And Vanessa Kirby like really makes you feel the magnitude of what it like means for her to like even think about like giving up her child. Julia Garner, awesome as the Silver Surfer. It's really impressive because she's mostly just like standing like regally on that surfboard, but she commands so much presence. She changes the energy in that room. It's so physically impressive. And I really liked how they unfurled her story. Also, I cannot stop saying, I herald his beginning, I herald your end, I herald Galactus. Visually speaking, loved this, loved it so much. I think this movie has identity. This thing has a visual identity, and it looks great. The costuming is really fun, and I think the production design is so vivid and lush and detailed. Like I mentioned in the description, it really plays with this retro futuristic design, and they like really do that to the max, and it just soars. Like, I think it visually soars. I loved like the look of it. The cinematography is really lovely. It just felt like there was effort and intention behind all of the visual choices, whether it was like shot composition, like the details, the craftsmanship. I know that's like the bare minimum for a movie, but like it is really nice to see a major blockbuster really care, and you can feel that care radiating off of it. The score. Let's talk about that score. I need it on a vinyl. I need it on a vinyl stat. Michael Giacchino's score is wonderful. I loved this score so much. One of my favorites of the year. It's got that epic superhero feel, but it really plays with the retro futurism, and it comes out as something like very distinct, and much like the visual flair, it's very specific and has an identity. I loved it so much. It's playful. It creates this like ambiance. It gets dark when it needs to. It does a lot of good work with this story. In a lot of ways, Fantastic Four First Steps kind of feels like a more simplistic approach as far as Marvel movies go. I mentioned this in my Thunderbolts review. It feels very scaled back, and this story-wise is in a similar vein. It feels a little simplified, not in a bad way. It just feels more laser focused, and it isn't trying to do so much. In focusing, it's able to put the people forward. There are some really great set pieces. I think the main set pieces are thrilling. They're tense. They really pull you in. They look good. The effects look good and look like they were given time to do them, but they don't dominate the movie. I feel like so many of these comic book movies can fall into this like sticky territory where they're just like doing action sequences. They're like inundating you with all these action sequences that don't look super great, and then it bogs down the story. Because of this, though, the big action set pieces in Fantastic Four feel intentional. It feels like there is purpose, and they are a bit more emotionally impactful, and the themes and characters really get to shine. I think this movie is actually like a really thoughtful and lovely story about parenthood, about how you so desperately want to soften the world for your child, but ultimately you can't do that. You just have to bring this child into the world and love them and nurture them as best you can. It feels like an ode to motherhood, like I mentioned earlier, and how mothers and parents will like move mountains for their children. I love what it has to say about, we can't make children be anything. I think Reed really struggles with the idea that his child may have powers like him, and he really doesn't want him to be anything like him because of his burden. But there's this lovely moment where he kind of realizes, like, I can't make you be anything. I just have to let you be who you're going to be and love you for that, and let you become who you're going to become in your own way. And I think that's beautiful. Again, similar to another comic book movie that came out earlier this month, this movie also like really earnestly believes in humanity. I think a big theme of this movie is community care. Our main four are always talking about family. They are a family, but they extend that family view to their greater community and to the world around them. And this movie really shows like how when we do treat not just our actual family, but like the world like family, and like come together for the good of our family and protect each other like family, like we can accomplish amazing things. And that may be a little saccharine to people, but I just think it's great that we have now 2 major summer blockbuster superhero movies that is just like earnestly giving humanity the benefit of the doubt and like really championing the potential of humanity. I had some qualms with it, right? Like sometimes the pacing feels a little rushed. I think we have this big undertaking, right, of introducing these characters to this universe specifically, while also like telling a story, while also trying to like push and lay groundwork for like the overarching cinematic universe in the future. Like there's a lot to do, and like the Fantastic Four have like a big vital role to play in that. So like sometimes things feel rushed for the sake of like getting to the story faster, or like getting to like major plot moments faster, but I'm willing to overlook it because Matt Shankman is so confident in his direction and his style and like what he's trying to say. I'm willing to overlook some of the shortcomings because like the vision behind the camera knows exactly what he wants, exactly what this is supposed to be, and exactly how it's supposed to look. I really loved this movie. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm loving it. I really want to see it again. It just like made me so happy. It made me emotional. It feels like an actual movie. It looks like a movie, you know, like it looks good. Again, I know that's like bare minimum, but like it just like it's so exciting and so fun, and what going to the movies, especially in the summertime, are all about. I ended up giving Fantastic Four 4 stars. It's hands down one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's one of the best we've had in literal years. I just adored it top to bottom. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so happy to love a summer blockbuster this year finally. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Make sure you do all the things you are supposed to do with a YouTube channel. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. I do movie reviews, award seasons coming up. I do all the things. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.